The News 4 Rundown starts now.
We begin tonight in weather alert mode. While most of the severe weather across the region has moved out, we are not completely in the clear just yet. Thanks for joining us for the News 4 Rundown. It is Thursday, August 20th. I'm Sean Yancey. Let's get right to Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Doug Kammerer and the latest on the severe weather. So, Doug, I know we just had a tornado warning canceled.
Yeah, that was down towards St. Mary's County. We had that tornado warning that was up from about 7 o'clock, right on just before 7, right on through about 7:15 or so. But thankfully, it was canceled as that storm is now making its way across the bay. Very interesting to note, we did not see much in the way of severe weather across the metro area. We had the strong storms coming through, but most of them stayed below severe limits. Down to the south, still under the tornado watch, but I think this is going to be canceled very soon. Charles County, Stafford, King George County, Calvert, you'll be done once this storm moves on through. And by this storm, I'm talking about these right here. Look at Patuxent River NAS. A lot of lightning right now, right over the air station here towards Chesapeake Ranch Estates. This is all moving over towards the eastern shore. The eastern shore has been pummeled by severe weather today. Numerous tornado warnings out that way. But for us, we're tracking around Drum Point, around Lexington Park. That was the area that was under the tornado warning. But that storm now making its way out of the area. That's good news. The rest of us, not seeing much at all. A couple of showers back to the north and west. So we're not quite done just yet, but these showers will fall apart as they work closer to the D.C. area. Also, numerous tornado warnings up around portions of the New Jersey and Delaware area. Even a confirmed tornado today around Dover. What does this all mean for tomorrow and your weekend? I've got that forecast for you coming up in a bit. Sean?
All right, we'll see you then. Thank you, Doug. Well, the Freedom 250 Grand Prix has taken over the streets of downtown D.C. The race course is taking shape and massive road closures are now in effect. All of this is catching some tourists and even locals by surprise as they try to make their way around. News 4 transportation reporter Adam Tuss is along the race course track tonight with the latest.
Yeah, final preparations underway for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix and the races this weekend. Take a look. This is 7th Street here in downtown D.C. You've got the stars painted here, the blue paint. We are actually inside the track zone right here. I want to show you, this is Independence Avenue right here, all blocked off. You see the fencing that's gone up here as the race is going to go right around this part of the Capitol and downtown D.C. Obviously, over the next couple of days, you aren't getting your car down here. You probably aren't even walking through here. And for a lot of people, just navigating this area has been a challenge. Security perimeters that rival an inauguration. And for everyday tourists like Dell from North Carolina.
Trying to get to the National Archives, and it looks like we have to go a bit out of the way to get there.
Yeah, this has been a bit much for the tour she was on.
Then we went 4 blocks in 1 hour. And it was a 2-hour tour, so we just got off.
The racetrack is taking shape, though, and in true D.C. fashion, one of the Indy cars pulled into the L'Enfant Plaza metro station. What a sight. Metro is expected to be the best way to navigate all the events this weekend.
And this exciting event to celebrate 250th, the first time ever, the big IndyCar race in town. I think it's about 130,000 people a day. We're all prepared, staff's all loaded up, and we're ready to deliver a great event for the country and for our community.
Take a look at where these cars will be racing. Down Pennsylvania Avenue, over to Constitution Avenue, cross over the National Mall at 7th Street, down Independence Avenue, and then back to 3rd Street in front of the Capitol building. Conrad from Hawaii says the mixture of materials here to create this space is inspiring.
Amalgam of the science and speed, and I think it's going to be a terrific race.
And his friend Angie loves the race idea.
Absolutely. It's good for the city. It's good for the country.
Keep in mind, this is a ticketed event, and if you don't have a ticket, you may not get close. There are also restrictions on some of the museums along the mall this weekend. Plan your trips carefully. In the district, along the race course, Adam Tuss, News 4.
Next week, students in D.C., Fairfax, Montgomery, and Prince George's counties are heading back to school, and getting kids ready for the new school year is costing families even more this year. According to the global commercial real estate services company JLL, the average back-to-school budget has jumped nearly 12% to about $489 per child. And with nearly 2/3 of parents concerned about inflation, families are increasingly looking for deals. Well, from backpacks and school supplies to new clothes and fresh haircuts, braids and blowouts, the money adds up quickly. This weekend, hundreds of Prince George's County families will be able to pick up some of those essentials for free. The Durant Family Charitable Foundation is hosting its third annual Back to School Community Day. The event is for families with students in 6th through 12th grades. Wanda Durant, president of the Durant Family Charitable Foundation, joins us now live to share what families can expect. Wanda, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Sean. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. All right, so we just talked a little bit about the rising cost of back-to-school essentials, and we know so many families right now are struggling. Tell us what families can expect this weekend when they visit the Durant Center on Saturday.
Oh, sure. We're giving away book bags, school supplies. We have sneakers for those who have registered. Families can get haircuts and braids. We have fun, food, and festivities, moon bounces, face painting for the kids, community resource tables to share some of the resources that are available in our community. And then also we have a book giveaway drive with another mother's organization. And so they can come and expect to have a good time. And we're there just to help curb the cost of that $489 per student. And so hopefully they'll come out and enjoy and we'll have a good time.
I feel like that $489 is low when you start talking about some of the other things, as you mentioned, the haircuts and everything else that goes into it.
Yes.
We know that this is going to be the foundation's third year from the event. What have you learned about some of the families who come out and the impact this kind of support means for them as they prepare for this new school year?
What I've learned is, and it reminds me of what I've gone through when I had my children, and we were in these same positions where we was trying to figure out how ends meet. And so what I think they know that the community and Kevin and our family and our foundation is there to support their needs, to support them through these hard, challenging times. So many people have lost their jobs, inflation, gas prices, and all the like. And so what they know is that the Durant Family Charitable Foundation is there to support. And I know they feel supported. And so these kids know that we care. And so that gives them opportunity to go to school, to be more engaged, to be present. Because we know those little things are important, like sneakers and haircuts and braids and how you show up. And so they get from us that we care and that we love them and that we're there to support them.
And absolutely. We know that you guys are open. Do people need to sign up before they can come, or is this just open for anybody who shows up?
The book bags and the other giveaways are for anyone to show up, but they had to register their students to receive sneakers. Also, right now on the show, we're opening it up to 50 more. We're at our capacity of 500, but we held out 50 more so that we can let your audience know that there's still a few more pairs that we can go out and purchase. And matter of fact, tomorrow morning, I'm going out to purchase the shoes, pick them out myself.
Love it.
And so for the haircuts and the braids, they had to register, yes.
All right.
And those are, fortunately.
Where can people register for those 50 extra pairs of shoes that you're saving just for our News 4 viewers?
Yes, they can go to Roderick, RODIC, at Durant, DURANTFCF.org, and they can register there.
Wanda Durant, president of the Durant Family Charitable Foundation. It is always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us, and we certainly wish you guys well on Saturday.
Thank you for having me, Sean. Appreciate it.
See you soon. If you want more information, the Durant Family Charitable Foundation's Community Day kicks off Saturday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Durant Center in Suitland, Maryland. By the way, if you're planning to attend, you can park at Suitland High School. There will be a shuttle bus there that will take you to the event. D.C. Public Schools is touting another year of improvement for students in both English and math scores. Numbers are measured by a yearly statewide assessment. Overall English proficiency is just shy of 40%, which is up about 2 percentage points from last year. Math proficiency is at 28.5%, also up about 2 points from last year. Most of the gains were driven by younger students in English and middle school students in math, but English and math proficiency rates both went down among high school students. Math among high schoolers is a particular problem spot. Just under 15% of students were graded as proficient. A year ago, Sadia Williams was standing with her classmates and celebrating a dream she'd worked hard to achieve. The 21-year-old had just graduated from the D.C. Fire Academy as a cadet and was set to begin her career as a firefighter. On August 24th, 2 days after she graduated, she tragically lost her life when she fell from a balcony. Today, her family returned for this year's graduation, this time to see Sadia remembered through an award given in her honor. News 4's Mauricio Caspillas spoke with her family.
For Sadia Williams' family, walking back into the ceremony wasn't easy, but they did so with their heads held high.
This is a surreal moment to be back here again.
A year ago, they were here celebrating their daughter, her accomplishment, her future, and her dream of becoming a firefighter.
Please remember Sadia.
Today and every day, they honor her memory. They say Sadia was passionate, dedicated, and deeply committed to her community, the kind of person who left an impression on everyone she met. And now her name will live on through a new generation of firefighters. Her name, Sadia, now serving as a mantra for the newest graduates.
Strength, ambition, and determination ignite action.
Truly miss her, adore her, and knowing that she was just a positive individual. That's the great thing, to know that she was positive, and it just keeps me motivated to know that it was a job well done.
Receiving the Sadia Williams Commitment and Dedication Award.
The inaugural Sadia Williams Award for Dedication and Commitment was given to someone who embodies all the things that made her special. The recipient didn't know her personally, but somehow still felt Sadia's presence during her training.
I've heard a lot of great things about her, and I also had the honor to be using her gear locker. So it said her name, it says Sadia loves you on it, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna keep that as a reminder, as I knew her classmates loved her, so I'm gonna make sure I can be able to keep her memory alive, you know. So I was so honored to receive the award.
And Sadia's parents say they felt her presence today. Knowing that other families got to see their children live out their dreams is especially meaningful.
To recognize the impact that she actually made is so heartwarming.
To know that she's done awesome in the world is amazing. So we're extremely proud as a family. We're proud as parents. And we just thank everyone for their love and support and prayers.
Passion propelled Sadia toward her dream. Her example is one that will continue to inspire the next generation of graduates. In the district, Mauricio Casillas, News 4.
Still to come tonight on the News 4 Rundown, a 12-year-old boy is now charged with involuntary manslaughter for allegedly shooting and killing a 13-year-old. News 4's Paul Wagner was in court today for the hearing and has the latest updates. Plus, media is her calling. Service is her mission. It's National Radio Day, and D.C. legend Kathy Hughes is sharing why she pursued a career in radio. Doug?
And I'm tracking the latest on the storms moving out of the area, but still down towards extreme southern Maryland, in towards St. Mary's County, but moving across and towards the Chesapeake Bay and the Eastern Shore. The rest of us looking pretty good tonight, but what about tomorrow and your weekend? I'll see you back here in a minute with more on that.
Today, a 12-year-old told a D.C. judge that he was passing a gun around when it went off and killed a 13-year-old in the district. Ahmad Mims was found shot to death on a sidewalk in Rosedale Street back in July. He was a rising 8th grader at KIPP Northeast Charter School. As News 4's Paul Wagner reports, today a judge reduced the charges against the 12-year-old after hearing new evidence about how the shooting happened.
Good evening. When News 4 first told this story back in July, we quoted from a search warrant affidavit that indicated that witnesses had told police that 13-year-old Ahmad Mims had been targeted because he had allegedly struck the suspect's sister. However, none of that came out in court today. Instead, a detective testified that the 12-year-old, who's now charged in this case, voluntarily came down a homicide and gave 3 versions of what happened that night. Here's what else we know. Detective Darren Malloy, seen here outside the courthouse today, testified that there were 4 people inside the house on Rosedale Street back on July 11th. And as the investigation got underway, police talked to as many as 10 witnesses, including a man who told police he saw someone dragging Ahmad Mims out of the house and leaving his body on the sidewalk. Detective Malloy said 3 days after the shooting, the 12-year-old and his family came to homicide and agreed to talk with police about what happened that night. Detective Malloy told the court the 12-year-old said Mims had a weapon that night and was sitting on the couch. The 12-year-old told him to put it away, and when he went upstairs to use the bathroom, he heard a gunshot. That was the first version. In version 2, the 12-year-old said Mims shot himself. But in version 3, the detective testified the 12-year-old told police he had the gun and passed it around to the others in the living room. And when it came back to him, he raised it in the air and when it came back down, the gun went off. Detective Malloy said a witness who was in the house corroborated that version. In this video, recorded in the hours before Mim's death and shared with News 4, you can see two males waiting in the hallway of Mim's apartment building before the 13-year-old comes out and looks right into the camera. During the testimony, the 12-year-old broke down crying and wiped tears from his eyes. The detective also testified that a man walking his dog that night saw someone pulling Mim's body out of the house. The 12-year-old told police that person was him and that he was trying to get help from Mims. Instead, he says he got scared and fled the scene. The 12-year-old will be back in court on August 26th. At D.C. Superior Court, Paul Wagner, News 4.
The 12th annual Chuck Brown Day is this weekend in the district, and for the first time, the Godfather Ogogo's family is withdrawing their support. They said protecting Chuck Brown's legacy, reputation, and the integrity of any event bearing his name is their highest priority. The event is set for Saturday at Fort DuPont Park. The family released a statement that said, in part, after 3 years of being marginalized in both the planning process and the overall direction of the event, we no longer believe the event reflects the level of collaboration, respect, and stewardship that Chuck Brown's legacy deserves. News 4 reached out to Mayor Bowser's office for comment. So far, we have not yet heard back. Well, today is National Radio Day, a day that celebrates radio and the role it's played in forming, entertaining, and connecting people for generations. Few people have had a greater impact on black radio than Urban One founder and DC's own Cathy Hughes. Hughes purchased her first radio station, WOL-AM, in Washington, D.C. back in 1980. She hit the airwaves as host of her own talk show focused on D.C.'s black community. I recently sat down with the media mogul to talk about that legacy. Why did you choose the path to radio?
Because the amplification of the opinions. I do not think it should be another culture's responsibility to identify what's important to us. I think that that's crazy for us to be begging white-owned media to tell our stories. We have to own our own media to tell our own stories. We have to identify what's important.
From that first station in D.C., Hughes built Radio One, now Urban One, which includes 58 AM and FM radio stations across the country. Currently, more than 15,000 AM and FM radio stations owned by various companies are broadcasting nationwide here in the U.S. Little story. I started my career in radio.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Country radio.
Really?
I did. Yes, I did.
Oh, no kidding.
I used to do the news. For a station, I had a different name on that radio station. I was called Paige Chandler. And then our sister station, I was like the morning co-host. I was called Panda.
Panda?
Because the station was called The Bear.
I've known her for a long time. I did not know that. That's a great story. All right, I want to know more about that.
Okay, I'll tell you. We'll
Panda?
talk later.
Yeah, we will. You might not live that down now. Let's show you what's happening out there today. A high temperature. Look at this. 92 in D.C., 94 Quantico. We saw heat index got up to 103. Today was a very hot, very humid day out there. Most areas in the 80s to the north, 90s to the south, and then the storms rolled through. But now, look at this. The storms are gone. We're getting clearing skies and a really nice evening out there. 77 degrees right now. Dew points are still up there, so it's still definitely on the humid side. But you can see not much in the way of a heat index. Now, down to the south, we're still technically under the tornado watch in towards areas like Charles County, St. Mary's, and Calvert. But the storms are pretty much out of here now, and you can see nothing back to the north and west at all. But we'll zoom on into the south. You can see there are still some storms in towards parts of St. Mary's County. They are now out of Calvert County now. Really hit parts of Leonardtown, parts of Lexington Park, over towards Patuxent River and Nass pretty heavily. We had some severe thunderstorms down there and actually a tornado warning about an hour ago down that way. Now the storm's still going on around Valley Lee, right around St. George Island as you make your way all the way down to the bottom of St. Mary's County, seeing some fairly heavy storms there, but they're moving out of the region and will continue to do so. Back behind this, you notice that no longer are we under any kind of a watch other than the fact of southern Maryland still have the watches down toward the south, and then areas like Philadelphia up towards New Jersey got hit very hard hard. Dover, Delaware reported a tornado on the ground a little bit earlier. Philly saw severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, flash flooding. So we kind of dodged a bullet in our area. We really did not see much in the way of severe storms. Even though we saw a lot of rain, we didn't see a whole lot of severe storms. The storms continue to make their way on out of here. By early tomorrow, we're dry. And look at tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Nothing out there. Can I rule out a storm? No. But most of us will stay dry. I think tomorrow could be a fantastic Friday. So that's good news. But then we get to Saturday. Friday night, by the way, if you're out and about, here's 11 o'clock. I think you're just fine. But watch what happens. Here comes the rain overnight into early Saturday morning. And it's going to be wet. If this computer model has a handle on this, I mean, notice it's raining pretty much everywhere. I'm not anticipating strong storms on Saturday. This is just a rain event during the day as an area of low pressure moves through. Could be a storm or two later in the day on the backside of this system, but much of the first part of the day could be on the wet side. I think Saturday night a little bit better. I'm trying to head up to the Orioles game. That's a 6 o'clock game, or 6:45, I think. I'm thinking that game could be dry, but it will be wet earlier in the day. So if you are heading out and about, watch out for that. Tomorrow, though, I'm still thinking a fantastic Friday, starting off in the 60s, working our way into the low 80s. How about that? Some cooler air in behind this system. Still a mix of clouds, some sunshine. It won't be totally sunny tomorrow, but I still think a fantastic Friday. Saturday, 79 degrees. Yeah, most areas stay in the mid 70s on Saturday with that good chance of rain. Isolated storm on Sunday, possible. 83 on Monday. Tuesday looking great, a high of 83 degrees. And look at next Wednesday and Thursday. 85 degrees on Wednesday, 85 Thursday, and then even some nice weather as we make our way towards next weekend.
All right, looking forward to the nicer weather.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Doug.
You're welcome, Paige Chen.
We'll be right back. We're 2 days away from the Commanders' second preseason game, and today we're learning more about an injury setback for an important player on offense, and another player received some high praise from the coaches and a rapper. Team insider JP Finley has it all covered from Ashburn.
Light practice for the Commanders on Thursday, but whoa, still got to watch that step. Tressway was completely fine. I just thought that was kind of funny. But seriously, the injury bug has been a problem here in Washington, especially as they're getting ready to play in Detroit preseason game 2 Saturday at noon. So what do they do at center? Nick Allegretti has missed the majority of training camp dealing with the calf problem. He got hurt on the first day of practices, missed about 2 weeks, came back, got hurt again.
How much, if at all, has the extended missed time impacted him kind of taking over that line and the calls and everything?
Yeah, for sure, JP, it has. Like when you're not in there of like getting all the reps and the turns, and especially at the line of scrimmage, like that's a big deal. As we get into Sunday, let's hope that trajectory continues and we're able to get him back out there. So those are the frustrating days for him, and like this guy's a real competitor. So it's a setback, but one that, hey man, like this is the best you can do to get right now, and I'm hopeful and optimistic as we get into next week that he'll be able to like really put together a full week.
Now, one player that's been healthy throughout training camp, second-year running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Not only has he been healthy, he's been darn impressive.
Just being ready whenever it come our way and just capitalizing. Just be ready when my number called, like to make everybody, like to make this team successful, to make this offense go. So just being ready whenever my number is called.
Seems like everybody's taking note of Bill, even musicians.
I mean, it's just cool. I think it's just him showing love, and I mean, it was cool, like to actually hear like the song name.
What rhymes with Ja'Cory?
Huh?
What rhymes with Ja'Cory?
Nothing. I don't know. It just a story exactly. The song is telling the story. Yeah, I might get on a feature or something. We gotta ask him.
Still no word what starters are going to play in the Detroit game, but Dan Quinn said some starters should play versus Detroit. Make up what you want from that statement. Jaden Daniels, the biggest question. We'll probably find out Saturday morning. One guy that will play, Sam Hartman. Check out this throw. That is pretty.
It's kind of a thing we started doing our rookie year. So, I win a couple here and again, so it's cool to get one in before we head off.
Covering the Commanders in Ashburn, I'm JP Finley.
Look, we just want to see Jaden play, and we want to see the team win, right? Right. All right, that's going to do it for the News 4 Rundown on this Thursday night. We hope you will join Jim and I back here for News 4 at 11. Until then, have a great night, and we will see you back here at 11, everybody.